Today, I'm going to show you how to create your own template and either course or assessment group program to have students submit their learning-based artifacts and evidence through portfolios and through Digication here at Loyola. So to begin, there are two parts to this. In order to have students submit their work, you have to create a template through a portfolio and then create the course or assessment group. So I'll show you both of those steps really quickly and hopefully give you a general sense on how to create your own, as well as how to navigate the tools of Digication. So first, we're going to create a portfolio slash that becomes a template. So you're going to click this plus button on your portfolio and name it whatever you'd like. Generally, it's usually whatever course or program that you're involved with or affiliated with. Make sure that the template down here isn't something you're already pre-populating. So we'll go to create from scratch and we'll type in something like the School of Continuing and Professional Studies, capstone. So as we're working on this, you can select a thumbnail specific to the program. So if it's specific branding or a building or sort of a Loyola marketing photo that you like or enjoy, feel free to use that. You can come down here and create a URL that's specific to this portfolio should you want to share it in the future. So you can always come back and edit these as needed. So again, make sure that your settings are the name that you'd like, the URL that you'd like, creating from scratch, and then come down here to click create. Because it's blank, it'll be pretty quick. It'll tell you which pages it's already creating, which is just the home slide, and then it should redirect you onto your new portfolio. So here is your blank template. It seems very empty, which is fine because we can jazz it up. We can keep it very simple, whatever is required. So here you come and unlock this section of the header, and you'd be able to type in again any of the titles that you'd like. This title stays on every single page as the header. You can change the background colors, the font, the size, as many things as you'd like. You can even resize things as you change them and edit them. And then you're going to come and use this navigational tool to basically set up the information that you're sharing with students, the instructions, and the assignments that they'll be turning in. So as long as this is unlocked, you can click this runner section here and click the editing tool. Here you can either click add new page and it will drop one down for you, or you can simply type in something and then click enter and it will enter page by page. So for this example, we'll just do a couple of general categories. So the first category will most likely just be let's use the first course section that they'll take. So that's one course, and then we'll add another, and then as many, honestly, as you will need for the program. So we'll go back and add more to that. If you wanted to add a subsection, so for example, one of these would require a resume, you can click enter, slide the page over just by clicking and dragging it and type in resume. And then that page will be created. Once you click save, those pages will manifest here on the runner bar. And as you can see, the drop down for each page requirement will be below. So this is the resume page now. As you can see, they all look the same because they're all blank. So moving on, you would go through and add different items and instructions to each page. So as you can see, we're working on the resume page, you'll click add. And here are the plethora of tools and resources that you can add into this section. So you can create multiple sections and break them up. So it gives the students a little bit more of a broken up monotony of reading. You can add text, images, files, documents, sound. You can even come down here and add tables. You can request that students upload photos, record video or audio directly from Digication. So as long as they have a microphone and camera, they can project directly onto their portfolio. And then also they can submit to Google Drive and Dropbox and have things linked directly or embed artifacts of any kind, essentially of almost any kind. So for example, today we'll add a text box. We'll click the rich text, it populates here, you can move over. Anything that you see in the gray and white checkered boxes is where you can move and navigate any of these modules. Here, you can double click and just type in submit updated resume. So here you can type out a multitude of different instructions. You can drag and drop documents directly onto the page if you already have instructions set or built out for each course or assignment section. You can add photos. So if you opened up Finder, which you can't see because I'm off screen here, but let's say, for example, you opened up Finder and you wanted to drag and drop an item, you would select essentially whatever you'd like. In this case, I will just choose a photo if I could find one, and then you'll drag and drop it onto the page. Here, it'll automatically process and recompress the photo size. You can move it over. You can change the size of the image or the box. You can move it as necessary so it fits however you'd like, and then click the auto resize button and it'll place the photo within its parameters. So from there, you can add and change any of the features that you'd like. It's very simple to use and also can be very complicated. So if you open up the cogwheel on any section, the design tools can be a little overwhelming, but you can change the background colors and the background layers. So for example, if you wanted to change this, you could go in item by item and change the section, the backgrounds, and the opacity on a multitude of different features. You can create slideshows by clicking and dragging and dropping multiple images at once. You can have document slideshows of multiple documents if you click and drag them at once. So again, it can be either very simple or very complicated depending on your skill set and the intention behind what you're trying to create. So once you've had all your instructions built in, for example, so let's say you're 100% ready to go, you'd come up here to this section and you would click publish this page or publish all pages. So because we haven't published this yet, everything is saved as a draft. As you can see, each checkbox is lit up with green lights, and if you unselect them, they become gray or white. So this is just showing you which ones you're actually activating or using when you publish the portfolio. So I'm going to publish all of them, and it will bring you back something to similar settings screen you saw when you created the portfolio. So again, you can change the title, the URL, the thumbnails, as well as who you're sharing it with. So if you wanted to share this with your entire class, you would click the edit tool and you would search whatever you'd like. So for example, if I wanted to share this with my class, I would type in experiential learning 393. I'd wait for the course to populate. I'd click that, and then it would add students and faculty to this list that are already enrolled. If you wanted to remove this and just share this with faculty, you would click this box and remove the students. If you wanted to share this with students, you would just click this box and remove the faculty. You can also set the different features on how much access they have and how many permissions they have. Otherwise, we will deselect these. You can also require a password if necessary. It's not always required, especially if you're sharing this with students. And then it can also be shown in the directory or the user profile. But because this is for a specific assessment group, I'm going to deselect that option and then click Save Settings. So now the portfolio is live. So once you go in here, you can come in and make as many edits and changes as you want. In order to make this a template that's shareable with students, you'd actually come in here, make sure all of your material is up to date and correct. You'd come down to this menu again and click Add as a Template. Once you add it as a template, again, you'll name it as specifically a template. You'll make sure the URL is different and edit the thumbnail as needed. You'll change who you can see it. As again, any student, faculty, staff member, or course or program on campus you can share it with. And then you can set any of the default settings as needed. So I'm going to cancel because I don't want this to be a template. Oh, well, it's already going to be saved. Perfect. So now there is a template that is saved, and I can go in and change that and delete it. Every time you create a new template, it's just best to delete the previous one if it's no longer needed. You cannot go in and actually edit a saved template. You just have to sort of create a new one, but it will stay in the archive as long as you would like it to be. So for that example, you now have a living document you can change anytime. You now have a template that you can share with students, and we're going to go in and create a course. So you can do this from the dashboard or from the course section on the left-hand sidebars. You're going to come in here and click the big blue button, and you're going to select either a course, community group, or an assessment group. And so being that this is more of a cohort model, I'm going to select assessment group. We're going to title it Continuing Professional Studies. There's no course specifically selected with this because it's multiple courses. You can set a description, or here there is the date range. So just know when the date range is changed, or if it reaches that specific end date, this will always stay in the archive, but it will disappear from your dashboard. So if you want to see this for years to come, make sure you just set the end date to future levels. Here in the spring, we'll be adding a gradebook feature for Sakai, as well as attendance and other features. So right now I'm going to deselect those, but we'll keep discussion, standards, assignments, and portfolios. Here we'll click Save and create a course. So here's the backside of the course shell. You can see that there's a list of things that you need to do and complete. You can come in here and create assignments, and the assignment grid is actually a really fun feature. So for an example, we'll just put activity 1. You can add a description here, so type in whatever you'd like, and then click Save. Once you do this, it actually will implement the assignment into an assignment grid here. So once you add students, it'll actually show you by color coding the scale where the students are at in completing their work and whether or not they've been assessed and evaluated. The more assignments you build out, the bigger the matrix will get, as well as you can associate standards with certain parts of the course, as well as certain parts of the assignments that students are submitting. If you'd like a discussion, you can add discussion sections similar to how you'd use in a learning management tool. If you link a portfolio or a template here, you can link them, or if students and faculty share a portfolio, you can see this listed out here. This is just for faculty. And then under people, you can come in here and add multiple students and add multiple faculty members. Then once you go into settings, you can edit any of the information that you need as necessary, changing the dates and times, changing any specific areas, pulling rubric reports, user access, all kinds of other features. Or you can always reach out to me, and as the admin, I can help you with a lot of these different features. I know it can sometimes be overwhelming, so always feel free to reach out and ask for help. Otherwise, as you're navigating these sections and adding different assignments, you can come in here and add multiple steps. So you can add the step that requires students to submit evidence. And just say you're submitting my evidence. You can rename this to be resume if you wanted to get really specific. You can set deadlines. You can make them so each step can be resubmitted if they make a mistake, or if you don't want that to happen, you can unselect that and students can only get one submission at a time unless you activate that. So we're going to let students resubmit, click save, and then students will be required to submit a resume. You can also come in here, and that's how you would add a teacher rubric. So if you wanted to assess or evaluate them, adding reflections and comments that can be sent back, or add a standard requirement for students that you would be associating with their work. And then as you move on, you just complete the sections as needed. You can reorder assignments, add as many as you'd like, and then it will always tell you where the students are at in those specific sections. So that's sort of a general overview on how to create a template as well as a course. And then once students start submitting their work, it would allow you to go in, click on those, and there will be another tutorial to follow on how to actually assess students' work within Digication. So thank you for your time. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out. I can be reached at learningportfolio@luc.edu, and I look forward to hearing any of your questions that you have. Thank you.